Hello guys and welcome back to another Critical Meds Cast, a Path to Glory 2v2 tournament hosted by Bronzepanic. This will be Series 9 and it is We Need Money versus Triomancer. So we've got AOD and Brownpuddle versus Trionega and Khanomancer. Let's get on with it. Hello guys and welcome to Game 1 of Series 9. We have Brownpuddle and AOD on the right hand side and Khanomancer and Trionega on the left hand side. This is AOD's Surf's Up map and AOD's playing on it, so whether we'll see a cartographer bonus or not, we'll never know. But the word has it that if you do design the map, you do have an advantage on it, but I don't think a lot of people seem to realise if you make a map, you don't generally play it 24/7, so we'll see if AOD does have that cartographer bonus or not. We do see Brownpuddle as Nod, AOD is GDI, Khanomancer is Nod, which is pretty usual. Khanomancer does like Nod, and Trionega is the GDI. He's trying to stop that Flamer. The Flamer is going to scout his MCV. Brownpuddle opting for a lot of Flamers actually. It's quite a lot of Flamers. It's quite unorthodox for a Nod to build that many, especially when he only has to really hold 2 chokes at max. I don't think AOD's got a scout yet. Oh, he has. But that was from Brownpuddle, so them extra Flamers are paying off because he has scouted both MTVs of Khanomancer and Trionega. We do see free ref from every player so far, so pretty standard game. We do see the second power after the third ref for some reason. Perhaps he might be going for some tech, or maybe just for the extra call for the refinery. You see Brownpuddle trying to get to that centre point first. This is one of the points of contention between both players. The faster you get to this, the better. So sometimes if this player will get to the top first, they can stop at this expansion and just get him trapped into his corner basically. Same on the south side as well. This south side is known by the players as being one of those positions that's obviously a lot better. You can generally, if you don't mess up the build, you can get 3 to 4 refs on this back and it generally helps you out quite a lot with the eco into the mid to late game. We do see Kano getting that defensive hand and nod. That's a very good position as well. I don't feel like Grens are going to get in there at all, especially with the buggy back up. You see a free ref War Factory from the from Trionega, and he's going Humvees, which is as well as an orthodox as GDI really. Sometimes they do get 1 or 2 early games just to snipe off these Flamers of the Nod, so they haven't really got any defense except for the buggies that will come out the airstrip. We do see he has got more Humvees than Brownpuddle has buggies for now, so we could just keep pushing this. We do see Khanomancer harassing AOD, trying to get as many infantry kills as possible on the GDI early, which is good. It keeps them building, making sure they don't lose War Factories and MCVs to the dives from obviously the Apache and the buggies at the same time. We do see Trionega still pinning down Brownpuddle. He don't want him to keep expanding in this top bit, but he has managed to get a 4th ref in that back patch, which is very neatly in there. We do see Trionega still coming in with the Grens and Humvees. Humvees are slightly better, I think, in HP value or armor value than buggies, but they do cost an extra 100 more. And I do believe they have a little bit more build time. But obviously buggies do have to arrive in the plane. AOD now pushing these tanks forward, making sure this buggy count doesn't get too high. And Khanomancer obviously can't take a trade against these tanks because he will lose all of those buggies. He will need this bike support, and obviously he's got the turret for now to stop any attack from AOD. Trionega has managed to get in the top side as well as Brownpuddle, so we do see them right up close together. It won't surprise me if you see an engineer out of this barrack soon, just to try and harass these refs. Sorry if there's a little bit of lag. I do realise this mod has some lag on the first cast that I do. It's quite weird. It's like it's loading all the textures or something daft, but it's every time I scroll quite fast. But you see the turret coming up from Brownpuddle. Smart move. It's a lot smarter if you have Flamers about, because the Grenadiers will try and attack that turret first, especially if you use guard mode, so Flamers will get max damage. You see AOD pushing with these tanks, pretty smart move for now, because Khanomancer doesn't have too many bikes up front, but he does have some at the back, and he did lose that defensive turret. Brownpuddle still trying to get up in Trionega's face with the turrets. And obviously, as soon as those Grens come out, they do want to attack what's attacking them, so they'll go for the buggy or the turret naturally first, and then the flamers get extra damage. Not sure why Trionega hasn't opted to go tanks. They would be very good in this situation. I do like the use of the Orca to whittle down the buggies and the turrets. He hasn't really got any anti-air. We do see AOD and Khanomancer still slugging it out. These bikes can snipe these tanks. I'm not sure why he hasn't gone for them. He does want to get rid of them because they will just gain damage over time. There we go. We do see the Orcas again from AOD. He does like to play Orca. And he does have vision on that MCV. So Trionega does need to be careful. We're probably going to see a bit of an Orca battle. Or we might see some Rocket Men from Trionega. Rocket Men are your best bet against Orcas, because Orcas aren't very good at killing them. They are anti-building and anti-vehicle aircraft. We do see Khanomancer going for the snipe on that War Factory. AOD's probably struggling for money now that he's built those Orca pads. They do cost 1,500 and they build really fast, so it will drain your money for a while. Trionega's still not repaired that MTV, so that is going to... I was going to say it's going to be on red HP, but he has managed to sell it. And he's still on one War Factory 4 ref. Brownpuddle really getting up in his face though, with 7 ref. This is oversaturating. If you oversaturate, you will mine out faster. You will get that influx of cash, but the more refs you build when you're oversaturated, it's kind of wasted cash. You'd probably be best with a 2,000 in army value. We do see Khanomancer has caused a bit of havoc with those bikes. He did get rid of the War Factory and possibly an Orca or two. He did damage one of them. And AOD's just trying to hold this position with Grens for now. Looks like Brownpuddle's really giving it now. He's right up in the face of Trionega. Trionega doesn't have an MCV to build any defences, so he's going to have to use the units for now to defend. We do see the bike sniping the harvesters from Khanomancer. And he still has that one tank, but he has lost a harvester, and he nearly did lose the Orca there as well. Interesting to see Brownpuddle opting for these SAM sites. They do well against Orcas when Orcas are under like 3. But if you have 4 Orcas, you can abuse the AI of the SAM site and kill the SAM site pretty much in one go. But you do need 4 Orcas for that. 3's just enough, but you're probably going to take some damage. Trionega making sure he doesn't lose that Orca, and he's going to keep it moving. Here comes a flame tank from Khanomancer, which is a good shout, because AOD doesn't have a War Factory, and he only has these Orcas. Brownpuddle is beating up Trionega quite a bit now. I'll just put the time back a sec. So the thing is, Khanomancer's smart for going flame tank because it's going to keep the Orcas busy, but he's going to get the bike snipe on the Orcas as well. So this is big. He's going to get the Orcas. AOD's not going to have anything to really deal with these flame tanks. I feel like Trionega's in a lot of trouble and AOD's in a lot of trouble, but it's whoever crumbles first will put their teammate in a 2v1 scenario, and you don't really want to be doing that to your teammate, so you do want to just hang on as long as possible. AOD did manage to get that War Factory back up, and this is going to be Khanomancer's main focal point. He's putting too much into this, and he's going to lose the majority of his army value to one War Factory. Will the Apache finish it off? It looks like it will do. We do see the buggies coming down to attack Khanomancer's MCV now. We can just keep repairing this. I'm sure we'll be able to get rid of a lot of these buggies in the meantime. He does opt to get the sell off, which is good. He does need the cash. But he is stuck to 1 strip for now. He could probably sell this common if he is struggling for money. Which he isn't. He's got nearly 6 grand. So he does want to be spending that up. Even if it's just a big chunk of flamers, send them over here, get rid of a ref, anything. Just spend your money. Do you see these Orcas still helping Brownpuddle out in the north? Well, it looks like Khanomancer's going to go for the harvester harass again. AOD is still on 4 harvesters. And he does still have his MCV, so he can get that War Factory back. I feel like Brownpuddle is the player with the most power right now, but he has mined out really fast. This is what I was talking about earlier. If you look at how much Tiberium's on these bottom patches in comparison, this is oversaturation. He's going to struggle for money. He's going to feel like he's put a lot into his economy, but it works in the opposite. The faster you mine, the less regrowth there is. So you kind of screw your late game. And once your late game is dead, you're just going to die. See how Trionega was nearly dead, but he's managing to push back a little bit because of the oversaturation of those harvesters. Khanomancer has sold that comms now. Not a big deal. You keep the tech as long as you've got the production building that is affected by that tech. But these flame tanks are going to get bullied now by these Archers. But it does give a bit of respite to Trionega from these Archer harassments. Khanomancer cleaning up a few of the units coming across the middle from AOD to Trionega. I do see a bit of a free-for-all around here. Meanwhile, Kano's not paying much attention to that Apache, and it does go down. I doubt he'll sell the helipad. He probably will get another one, even if it's just for bait to get the Orca kills with bikes, because that helipad is very close to the airstrip. So even if bikes are spawned here, they'll be in a defensive position for that Apache anyway. Trionega still holding on. He does want to hold on as long as possible. It's a race now to see who dies first, basically. You see 5 Orcas, so this is getting to a point where Orcas are going to be too much for this strip to hold. It is going to take 2 trips for these Orcas to kill that strip. So AOD being smart, if he gets rid of this strip, his opponent's not going to be able to do much to him with just flamers. You can just hold ground with grenadiers, basically. He does still only have 1 barracks though. Trionega still trying to hold on, but if you look, Brownpuddle has all this infrastructure, but just no units. He can't do anything right now. His grenadiers are going to do quite a lot as long as he keeps them alive. Ooh, big trade, but that's alright. I feel like Khanomancer is in a position now where he could probably kill AOD if he just pushed. And he's trying to get some snipes on these Archers, but with the wrong unit. You do ideally want bikes on those helipads. Just a quick hit and run is enough. He did buy that Apache back, so that's very smart. We do see AOD helping out his teammate, making sure he doesn't get harassed too much by those buggies. Khanomancer with an actual army of minigunners. I think it's smart now for Brownpuddle to sell these SAM sites. There isn't much air presence from either player now. Obviously with AOD having these Archers, there isn't going to be much anyway. Kano is trying to push Trionega just to get Brownpuddle out of the game. I feel like it's a double-edged sword going for Brownpuddle, and kind of a mistake, because even if he sells off his building, it's giving him money to defend himself. And he's overmined anyway, like he's his own worst enemy at this point. There's just no Tiberium in range whatsoever. So I think if they would have combined efforts to get AOD out, they could have turned this game around, because they do still have accessible Tiberium. Where Brownpuddle would have to mine all the way out here, or all the way down here, and they could just camp the Tiberium and stop Brownpuddle from harvesting at all. So I feel like as long as they get AOD out, they've won. We do see quite a bit of a Gren squad from AOD, and the Orcas obviously out and about and harassing everything. Also trying to take out this harvester in the centre with his stationary grenadiers. Trionega has now lost his air tech, but he wasn't using it too much anyway. Some casual Grand harassment. That was a very nice trade for Khanomancer. He just need to keep pushing this. The convoy of Brownpuddle's harvesters. See, now when they do this, what Trionega really needs to be doing is keeping these Grens alive and getting as many harvester kills as he can. Because even if a player's got production, if he's got no money, he can't do anything anyway, so... Unfortunately, he did lose that barrack, so he can't rebuild his Grens. We do see the game slow down quite a lot, obviously, because players are battered and bruised and have no money. I do still feel like Khano has the ability to kill AOD. He just really needs to push and be careful with the micro the flamers. If they stack on top of each other like that, they're going to kill themselves. But that was a nice half snipe. But unfortunately, Brownpuddle does have a million of them. Khano, I have said Khano needs to push, but he's going to lose too many flamers trying to kill harvesters like this, because they just, when they ball up, they do like to kill themselves. AOD slowly killing off all the production with his archers, which is very smart, which obviously puts Trionega and Khanomancer on a time limit. They need to push AOD and get rid of him. I do feel like AOD's archers have carried this game, just the sheer amount of damage they've done. I feel like he shouldn't have really got away with it, but he has. I feel Orcas in 2v2s are very good as long as you have a teammate that opens earlier strips so the buggy can get the scout on the important buildings that you need to kill. Obviously that's probably one of the things that AOD and Brownpuddle might change up in the few games that we're going to see. That was a very good game. That goes to We Need Money, which is AOD and Brownpuddle. Let's have a look at the scoreboard.
Battle control terminated.
See, if the map had more Tiberium on it and Brownpuddle didn't mine out, I could see this being around the 90k. Like, Brownpuddle had gone off, but his own eco killed him off too fast. Which is probably why they've got the team name We Need Money. We do see the kill count almost reaching 1,000, which is pretty impressive in itself, honestly. But yeah, not a massive difference in eco. Obviously, Trionega did suffer a lot at the start, so we do see it a bit lower than everybody else. But pretty good game altogether. See you in game 2, guys. And here we are, guys. Game 2 between We Need Money and Triomancer. We do see Trionega in the top left in white, Khanomancer in the bottom left in red, AOD in the bottom right with orange, and Brownpuddle in the top right as the teal GDI. Everybody else is nod. Probably an awkward placement for the hand and nod there. Perhaps Trionega's not played this map too many times. You do want to try and get it as close to the choke as possible, just to reinforce that choke. Brownpuddle getting that scout on the MCV again, which is quite impressive really, because it's not an easy map to scout. We do see the early Apache from Trionega. He's going to get rid of the Gren push. You don't want to chunk up your Grens like this, because as you see they do have a splash damage radius on the Apache. When they do attack something in the middle, everything else takes, I think, about 50% of the damage extra within a tile. Don't quote me on that, but it does look like it. Oof. AOD does get the scout on Khanomancer there. And he is on free ref. And he's used his third ref to push back into this area. Brownpuddle opting for 4 ref. Pretty common from GDI. We do see a bugged harvester. This does happen quite a lot. They will just walk around the refinery until this one finishes rather than actually going to their assigned ref. Thanks Jim. Thanks EA. We do see both strips within a small distance from each other, and we are going to probably see a turret fight in the south. Khanomancer does have the buggy count because he did go for the 2 ref strip, which is very interesting. He does need to push this aggression He doesn't want to let AOD get up to the same type of buggy numbers. He might as well take the fight while you got twice as many. Now this is where you don't want to keep fighting while the turret's up. Khano does need to get possibly one bike or a good amount of infantry to push his turret, get it out the way, and then get his own turret up and give himself the advantage. Ideally you want to put the turret as southwards as possible so it does have the +1 range turret advantage shooting north, because they do get +1 range shooting north, which is quite a strange mechanic, but it is. We do see him opt to put it in the south. Well, AOD is now up to 3 turrets, and this is a big issue for Khanomancer. He's going to have to pull back. But the thing is, he can't pull back too far where these turrets aren't going to get in range of the strip. Same with Trionega. He has gone for a forward strip, and you don't really want to be doing this against GDI. You want to be defending this at all costs, because this is one of the win conditions for GDI is to get rid of that strip. Once you lose the production of vehicles, GDI is just going to roll you. We do see him opting for the early flame tanks. AOD's pushing in with that infantry and buggy count now. Looks like he's getting too much for Khano right now. He does need a few flamers and possibly another turret, but that strip's in a lot of trouble. We do see the MCV and power plant. The Brownpuddle's in a lot of trouble as well with them flame tanks. Trionega's biggest threat now is that war factory. He does need to get rid of it. This strip's gone. It's only a matter of time now. Hopefully Khanomancer is building a second strip as backup. But being on 2 ref, he's not going to have a lot of money. He's got a grand, so he has been set. He went for a ref. Now, I don't agree with it, but maybe he's got a game plan. But he does need his vehicles to survive. We do see Trionega now on 4 ref with a strip. And we do see a little force of tanks pushing down to Khanomancer to help AOD kill off Khanomancer a little bit faster. I feel like Trionega's going to get a bit too strong soon. I feel like AOD's kind of all in because he's still on free ref. So it does feel very all in at the minute. We see an obelisk from Trionega in that nice choke. That's a really good position. If he keeps a flame tank there and then just uses the obelisk for tank kills, he's fine. But unfortunately, if he's going to play defensive like this, I feel like Khanomancer's going to be dead. I think if he plays defensive like this, you want minigunners in this choke, leave the obelisk there, and back up your teammate with any vehicles you build after that point. But we don't see much vehicles from Trionega at all. He's spending a lot on his tech. We do see that bike snipe on the comms. Pretty interesting that AOD would snipe the comms when the comms isn't really a massive issue right now. We do see the turret crawl continuing into Khano's base, and this is the reason why AOD hasn't had the time to eco up, so he's still on free ref. They're doing fine. We do see the obelisk fall to that infantry bush. Obelisks are good, but they can't keep up with a mass amount of infantry. That is their weakness. We do see the SSM not defended too well either, and that dies to infantry, which you don't normally see. Now, 3 tanks on a strip, it's a goner. I don't think he's going to be able to defend this, even with the turret and the bikes. We do see Khano's base in absolute tatters right now. He has only got 2 ref and 1 barracks left. AOD coming in the back of Trionega's base as well, so he's cutting off this extra eco that Trionega did have. And neither of the Nod players has got a strip left, so I can see this game ending pretty soon. There's just too many tanks and infantry, and we do see the sell-off on Trionega. It will be GG. So we do see AOD pulling off the free ref strip, building to your opponent style. It does work in Nod versus Nod, especially in such a small distance from your opponent as this map acquires. And obviously killing that MCV of the GDI but not killing the production, so you've just gave him extra money to basically counterattack yet. So yeah, game 2 goes to We Need Money, so it will be match point in the next one. So Khanomancer and Trionega do need to pull one back. It is a best of 5. Obviously, three games will win you the series, but if you manage to go to all 5 games, both teams do score points, so each map does score a point. As you can see, AOD absolutely farming those infantry kills towards the later stages of the game, because Khanomancer didn't have a strip to defend himself, so that is a lot of minigunners kills. Brownpuddle doing work on Trionega. He did get that strip, and he did kill the obelisk relatively well, considering. I felt Trionega was really strong at one point, but he just didn't have the army to back it up. He probably lost quite a lot defending Khanomancer, and I feel like Khanomancer made a mistake with obviously going 2-ref strip but not defending it too well at the start of the game, with it being too close to AOD, who did go for the more eco style. Let's get into game 3. Hello guys and welcome to game 3. It is match point. Khanomancer and Trionega are going to have to crawl back into this series. We do see Khanomancer and Trionega on the left hand side opting for the MCV crawl, and they are in yellow for Trionega and orange for Khanomancer. And we see AOD gaming in the teal with the insta deploy, and Brownpuddle opting to move his MCV just a little bit to help the crawl, and he is in red nod. We do see AOD opting for the ref first. On big maps like this, it is pretty good to go ref first. You just got to make sure you anti-scout properly, because their scouts will be further across the map than yours. So obviously going ref first is really good. A lot of people don't do it, so I think maybe they should do it more often, especially on bigger maps, where it doesn't matter too much when your scouts come out a little bit later. We do see it is a 4-way nod game on a big map. These are quite hard to cast because a lot does go on. We do see a lot of dives and 2v1s and just big buggy fights. We do see 2 ref on this backfield. I don't really feel like it's a 2 ref field. I feel like it's like a 1.5. If you will see if Trionega doesn't put a second ref on the back here, you'll see the difference of how fast he's mine out with 2 refs. I feel like the best thing to do on this map is literally just to crawl into your opponent. We do see a bugged harvester for Trionega there. Hopefully he doesn't notice it, because it will lose him money over time, especially when he's against a good player like Brownpuddle, who will take advantage of that extra economy. So it does look like we're going to get a free ref strip from every player. We do see the strips a bit earlier for the north players, and then at the exact same time for the south players. As you can see, a completely mirrored build. Strip, power plant, silo, strip, power plant, silo. So they are using the silo to get the ref further to the middle. As you can see, AOD did get his first and Khanomancer second, but it is a pretty mirrored build so far. I just realised how poor that ref is from AOD. That might hinder him quite a lot in the late game. Or it might not, because obviously this won't mine out as fast, but AOD won't have that influx of cash. And you see just a standard little buggy fight in the south. It might be interesting to see if he forces Trionega to get that turret. He has gone for the second ref in the back. I do feel like you can get free ref in this south part. You just got to get it in this corner, or perhaps before the power plant. You do see the turret war. Khanomancer on it this time. He is ahead in turret count. Brownpuddle can't really... Oh no, it is AOD. AOD can't really push these turrets. I mean, he's going to go for it while he's got the minigunners, which is smart. Ideally, he does want them flamers to defend the turret from those minigunners, which he is doing, which is good. I feel like AOD's overextended there. He did get the first turret very well, but wasting far too much, and we've got Khanomancer's turret there. That is going to save him. He should push right now and get that turret out of the way. So then he does have the 2 turret advantage, which is beautiful. We do see the same type of story in the south between Trionega and Brownpuddle. So as you can see, you grab the turrets, the hand and nod backs them up with the infantry defense against the infantry. Hang on a minute, I just missed something. We had a lone flamer from Brownpuddle taking out Trionega's MCV all along. Trionega didn't notice, and neither did I. And I've got the better view. So, Noobcaster. But yeah, as you can see, you get the turrets backed up by the hand and odds. Because infantry do counter turrets better than buggies do. Again, he does need that flamer there in defence of these minigunners, because they do counter turrets very, very well. As I say, the proof's in the pudding. As you can see, this basically is boiling down to two 1v1s between 4 nod players. Khano doing a lot of damage in AOD's base behind his back. He did manage to get rid of this ref here. Trionega looks like he's coming out on top as well in the south, so this looks like it's turning into Khano and Trionega's favour, but Trionega losing that MCV, being on 5 ref and only 1 strip, means he's going to have to build a lot of infantry. So if I was Brownpuddle right now, he'd probably want a lot of flamers. We do see Khano just being a pest with these extra buggies, helping out Trionega and blocking the refs of Brownpuddle. I can imagine the game chat right now is probably not too happy about that. He hasn't got a lot to defend it either. Because he's probably spending that extra money with the MCV. There it is. That's the reason why he's in trouble. He hasn't got any units, but he's building a refinery. If you've not got any units, you don't want to be building a refinery, because it does eat your cash. He definitely does need money right now. AOD has flipped the tide in the north, but I feel like Khano has backed up Trionega that much that it doesn't matter if he has to pull back into a defensive position against AOD. Because Brownpuddle's in a lot of trouble. And I feel like this is going to turn into a relative 2v1 against AOD. And he's going to lose his MTV. He's going to have to be forced to sell it or lose it. He's opting to lose it because he's building something. So instead of selling it and getting the 2.5 grand, I think he did put down a turret. It's very questionable whether that turret was obviously worth the extra cash. Khano now obviously flexing the MCV advantage. He can just keep turret crawling and defending it with infantry. There's not a lot AOD can do. He did get a nice harvester kill there, so Khano is down to 3. Trionega now beating up AOD's forces in Brownpuddle's base as he's trying to defend him. I feel like Brownpuddle's really suffered for money in this game, which is very interesting because I think he only had 1 ref on this patch in the main, unless I'm mistaken. Maybe this one mined backwards, or unless there was a ref here that was killed. We do see Khano frantically trying to defend this back part. AOD trying to get the dive through the back because there's far too many turrets there. Khanomancer is going to chase him. He doesn't want him anywhere near. Yeah, I think he does have the numbers advantage for now, and he does have a bit of a concave advantage. He does need to just sit on the concave, that's it. Brownpuddle really suffering. He is building bikes, which is questionable. If you haven't got money, don't build bikes. They're too expensive at the time. Buggies are just your best bet at that point. But you see bugged harvesters from Trionega still, so we can imagine if that probably wasn't bugged, Brownpuddle would have been even more trouble. Did we just see another ref from Brownpuddle? I feel like Brownpuddle's trolling, actually. Because if you've not got any money, you don't keep building refs when you've got no army. Like, if you don't build army, you're dead, right? Even if you just sell the MTV, get some flamers and buggies, and hold out for as long as possible while AOD does what he needs to. But building refs when you've got no money is a bit daft. Trionega is pushing in now. He does want to kill off Brownpuddle as fast as possible. He could go for a cheeky engineer and get this MCV, so he does have an MCV back. But the longer this game goes, the worse it gets for AOD, because it does look like Brownpuddle's not going to come back from this. You do see the sell-off. And AOD's now in a lot of trouble. He could never get through here because there was too many turrets, and he did get choked off here, so I don't think he's got much choice but to surrender now. Wave that white flag. Kill your own ref just because you're a rebel. And get the game over quicker. So that's game 3, and Khanomancer and Trionega have pulled a game back, so we might see an interesting series. Let's have a look at the old stats.
Battle control terminated.
So as you can see, Trionega's excuse me, his eco didn't really get touched for the majority of the match, so he did have the best eco. Best kill because I think for the majority of the match he did kill soft units like minigunners, flamers. Khanomancer and AOD were at it most of the game. AOD did get the better resources, but I feel like he did throw a lot of units early on against Khanomancer's turret advantage. Sometimes you do feel forced into them type of situations where you have to get rid of their turret advantage and build yours back. Obviously, Brownpuddle did harvest more than Khanomancer, but it didn't feel like he had that many units. But it was just a bit of an all-out slugfest between all 4 of them in 2 1v1 situations until Khanomancer kind of tipped the scales by helping Trionega with the ref blocks on Brownpuddle. Right, I'll see you in game 4, guys. Hello and welcome to game 4, guys. This is Canyon Paths. We've seen this one a few times now. We do have Trionega in the white again. I do like this white. It's very different for us players because we don't see it on ladder anymore. It was originally a an original colour for Tiberium Dawn. So we do see it. I think it replaced the standard blue they used for multiplayer. So we have Trionega in the white, Khanomancer in the red again, Brownpuddle in green, and AOD in teal. So the player's not really opting to switch up the colours, which is good, especially from a caster's point of view. When they switch up colours a bit too much, it is hard to follow. So the only one changing the colour so far is Brownpuddle. We do see Trionega back on the GDI. We do like to see some GDI mixed up in here. What colour is that? That is green. Okay, so that is just Brownpuddles. I was wondering if Khanomancer had managed to magically get one across the map and it'd be on red HP. I feel like AOD's forced to go to ref strip because his tip's a bit too far away from him. Would you see Brownpuddle had to go for the silo annex for a power plant for the 3rd ref? But Khano and Trionega did have a better crawl. Trionega's now on 4F, a lot earlier than everybody else. But we do see the early strip from AOD, which is smart, obviously, because he couldn't really get that 3rd ref without crawling a bit too much. I do feel like that rock's in a bit of a silly spot, but we do see it on the left-hand side as well. And you see the sandbag ready for the ref. And up comes Khano's strip now. We do see a Gren and Flame a little scout party. Nice trade. Trionega can do something big with these Grens now. If he gets them on top of this ref, he does need to have a couple of defending Grens, or that's going to happen. Unfortunately, because Trionega could have made something out of that. But them 2 Flamers did get every kill. That was a good value. AOD's probably going to get a fort ref up top here, but he's going to be in a sticky area where Khanomancer will be able to harass it easily, especially if he gets the turrets down here, because they will have that +1 range. Brownpuddle has got the scout on Trionega now. Trionega opting for the tanks this time instead of Humvees. I do like to see it. You do want to flex this tank as much as you can in the early game, because when Nod are only on buggy tech, and this is up near their strip, they are forced to build bikes. But we do see a 2v1 going on against Khanomancer right now. Brownpuddle did try and go for an MCV dive, but because this is the only choke he can get through, he's kind of screwed his army a little bit. I don't know why Trionega opted to pull his tank out. He did have a good position there. He has got the Orcas, but they're not really doing anything. They could pick off these buggies. picking off these buggies now, especially for Kano, would help him out a lot with him being in a 2v1 situation. We do see the MCV dive, and it doesn't look like Kano's going to be forced to sell that. I feel like Trionega could be doing more to harass Brownpuddle to stop him from really getting away with doing this extra damage for no real reason. Trionega now on the 5 ref 1 war factory. We might see him building the second war factory right now. The GDI uncontested is a scary thing to deal with. Khanomancer knows he's all in now, so he can spend the extra money on minigunners, because he won't be able to build too quickly off that one strip with all his money. That was a lot of flamers lost. This is a nice little army from Kano and Trionega. I feel like that's a nice little combo. AOD does have a bike squad now. This is dangerous. I reckon I know what he's going to go for. He's going to try and get rid of the GDI's tech structures and MCV. But he has been met by these buggies, and he don't really want to be fighting buggies with bikes. Because the buggies do trade better, unless the bikes are microed by an actual god. It keeps them at a better, a longer range than the buggy, because they are longer range than the buggy anyway. So they do have a kiteability, but you do have to babysit them a lot. And obviously babysitting them in an older RTS game like this, when you do have to focus on a lot of your base building, it's very difficult. We see Trionega with this like absolute GDI death ball now. It's going to be really hard for Brownpuddle to stop. Khanomancer has an insanely big army right now. He could just use these minigunners for defense and the buggies to do damage. He has still lefties in the top side helping out Trionega. I feel like Trionega's built those orcas but hasn't really done anything with them. So they're kind of wasted cash for now. Do you see the Gren's pushing across the Tim? AOD going for the sniper on the strip. But if he doesn't get this, which I don't think he's gonna lose all these bikes almost. I actually can't see AOD and Brownpuddle winning this. The Kano and Trionega have such a massive army value in comparison. I mean, AOD is getting relatively big now, but he lost too much in bikes. He didn't get what he needed, which was a strip. If he'd have got that strip, he could have just played defensive until he had enough to roll over Kano. Who do you see? Trionega still pushing on Brownpuddle, and he hasn't got a lot of army again. I feel like maybe he's spending too much in refs or something. But he has lost a lot of those buggies again. AOD backing up Brownpuddle. Yeah, he did go two strip all in, but Kano's just got the superior numbers for now. Because we did see the extra bikes being built, but they didn't really do too much. So we see the army value of those bikes reminiscent in Kano's army of buggies. Trionega now using those orcas to get rid of some of these buggies now that he's in a bit of danger. I do feel like he should have had that second war factory up a bit earlier. 7 refs a bit too much because he has mined out his original harvesting area, so he is technically only on like 2.5 refs, maybe 3 refs right now mining. AOD's just been absolutely wiped out by Kano at this point. And I feel like Brownpuddle's going to be on the way too, because this is a pretty big army considering I don't think Brownpuddle has an army unit on the map. There goes another ref. I feel like this is game over. And it is. We're going to go to a decider match. We're going to go to the... oh, what's it called? Oh. Well, anyway, I'm excited for it because that decider map's quite fun.
Battle control terminated.
You see Trionega absolutely crushing it with that harvested money. Khanomancer doing really well considering his MCV was sniped early. I feel like it was almost a double-edged sword. Khanomancer had got up to the required refs for that map anyway, 4 or 5. And obviously he just got to build army and focus on it rather than building. When you kill someone's MCV, what you got to realise is they don't have to focus on building anymore. They've got enough time to micro, so when you're building and microing at the same time, they will take advantage of that. but a very nice game. I feel like Khanomancer just absolutely rolled in that one, considering he didn't have as much money as Trionega. Right, let's get into the decider map, guys. Here it is, guys. Game 5 of Series 9, and it is Adjacent Battles. I do remember this map. Where will they go? It looks like they're all spreading out. We don't see people copying where everybody else is going, so they are all off into separate directions, and they have managed to maintain the side of the map to each team, which is very good. Often if you see two MCVs going one place, whoever deploys first will get the advantage, but sometimes the MCV can be in an awkward spot. Looks like we're going to have... Oh, we have GDI from Brownpuddle this time. It looks like he probably got fed up of Nod. He is getting that double barracks. It is good for GDI to go heavy aggressive on the Grens early game in these type of situations. As long as you micro them very well, they can kill flamers from a distance. They do have an extra tile range than a flamer, so I do believe it's 3 tiles is the distance, and the Grens will attack the flamer without the flamer being able to do anything unless it's on guard mode. So we do see a lot of hectic infantry pushes and builds. Trionega well ahead in the eco compared to Brownpuddle right now. Well, compared to anybody really. He's done very well to be aggressive and get the eco up. Kano opting for a silo crawl into his opponent. I reckon he's going to put like a turret down just for a distraction. That patch is going to help Trionega a lot. Do you see the turret war now from AOD and Kano? He needs to get rid of this flamer. There we go. But do you see Kano hit low power for now? Because he has gone for that Apache. Apache in this situation is interesting because he can use it to kill the infantry and then his infantry kills the turrets. But he is losing quite a lot there. Trionega still doing very well with just infantry against GDI, which is impressive. I'll have to give it to him. He's gonna force the repair of this MCV, which does cost a lot. You don't want to have to keep repairing this. I think it does cost like a quarter of the building price. If any of you know INSEE 3000, he did do a video about the cost of repair on buildings, so that is a good information of the video. Did you see an engineer from AOD? So it looks like maybe it was a mistake because he did kill his own engineer, which is nice and courteous to his opponent. We do see engineers as quite strong in the TD community. Sometimes you'll see players respect not using them to look like they get an easier win, and AOD is one of those players. So we do see the strip up now from Trionega. He has held out with a barracks tech for long enough. We do see Khanomancer opting for the double Apache with infantry tech, just on 2 ref. The problem is AOD can't defend these turrets too well if these Apaches are killing the flamers. But what Kano is doing right now is forcing flamers to be built, and then they're going to die to the Apache. So the more he makes AOD buy flamers, is the longer it delays AOD strips. So it's very smart to go double Apache in this situation, in my opinion. We do see a little bit of an infantry push from Brownpuddle onto Trionega, but he's going to clear it up with that flamer. Brownpuddle being smart with the barracks push and the guard towers, but I feel like Trionega's holding on very well. He is 4F now. Khanomancer being an absolute pest with his Apaches. He is known for his Apache play, so it's nice to see. See this +1 tile range advantage from the south side turret. Trionega not able to build some flamers for now because he did opt to get that 5th ref. That did cost him quite a bit, and he might lose the hand and nod. He might lose it. Ooh. No way, 1 HP. Like, really 1 HP. We do see the counter from the flamers and the Apache go for the power plant. AOD did lose that turret. He didn't get the cell, but he did get the minigunners. And we do see the SAM site to defend himself from these Apaches. I feel like he should have probably put it a little bit closer up, but not too far that these turrets can hit it. Brownpuddle now does have a ref contested with these two harvesters from Trionega, and he has his base kind of split in half. Khanomancer just jiggling around this SAM site. He's been very cautious not to lose these Apaches. And as you can see, the SAM site does have terrible accuracy when the aircraft is moving at full speed. You see the ref block from Trionega, which is very smart in this situation because he's going to get that MCV kill, but looks like the guard tower's not in range. Oh, it was in range, it's just because it can't shoot over the building. I feel like Brownpuddle's in a lot of trouble with the amount of buggies he has now, just sat on top of his barracks. And as a GDI, you don't want to be in a position where you just let the buggies farm your infantry like that, because you are just wasting money. But I don't think Brownpuddle has much of a choice. Losing that MCV, he can't go War Factory Tech, so it wouldn't surprise me if Trionega just finishes it out with Comms Tech and the Flame Tanks. We do see Khanomancer microing these Apaches incredibly well. He hasn't really took any damage from that SAM site, which is very impressive. I would like to see Khanomancer probably selling the rear turrets just so we can get the forward ones a little bit quicker, because I can imagine his money's quite stifled. It is. I feel like Trionega's going to beat out Brownpuddle, but it's only a matter of time now. I feel like he doesn't need to be this cautious with these buggies, he can just go all in, but Khanomancer opting to help him out. It's massive. Poor Brownpuddle getting the brunt of 2v1 there. Them Apache's getting him some, well, both of them some extreme value. That is Brownpuddle's last production building. We do see AOD trying to sneak these light tanks, but do the opposition see it? Khanomancer does see it, so it's not going to be a surprise. 2 strip light tanks, very good, especially on a 5 ref build, but we do see a very low ref count from AOD right now, so this will be just a last ditch effort and a bit of an all-in. This is quite smart considering Khanomancer was only on infantry and helicopter tech, so these could have killed him off had he not got this strip up in time. And obviously Trionega are only on the buggy tech, so these light tanks do naturally counter it. So these light tanks can do a lot of damage, it's just as soon as they move out of his base is going to be vulnerable. That is a lot of light tanks, mind you. Good choice to go for the power. They've seen him sell the MCV, so power's probably a good choice now. Either that or eco. But those buggies definitely aren't killing the strips anytime soon. I'll just skip back a little bit. Would you see a cheeky harvester block from Brownpuddle on both those refs? Do you see AOD losing his power now and those infantry? That's a lot of light tanks, but he's letting the bikes get too much damage on him, I feel. He could just stop, kill the bikes and continue. Which he is now opting to, but there is too many bikes and a turret up. Trionega playing incredibly well this game. I mean, him and Khanomancer just played out their minds. We do see these light tanks slowly dying off, as well as AOD's eco. He isn't going to get much more light tanks from now. They've both opted to sell the MCVs just to have that cash influx to get rid of these light tanks and get AOD out of the game. What a game. I mean, Trionega played incredibly well at the start of the game, holding off the infantry push to then get into the airstrip tech, as well as the high eco. Then Khanomancer playing incredibly well with the Apache turret infantry combo without even having to go strip against a nod. So we do see some very good strategies. I do feel like Khanomancer and Trionega do have the ability to be in the top 4 at the end of this tournament. And so do AOD and Brownpuddle, so that was a very good match. It did go to all 5 games. Khanomancer and Trionega did manage to pull off the reverse sweep, but like I've said in previous casting, this basically means AOD and Brownpuddle get 2 points, and Triomancer and Trionega, Khanomancer and Trionega get 3 points. So both teams scoring at the end of the day, even though
Terminated.
Triomancer managed to take the series 3-2. Just update that. As you can see, Trionega with that early free ref before anybody else was on free ref. And then obviously the eco escalating as he got 4 and 5 ref off the infantry into the airstrip. All those kills are infantry based as well on Brownpuddle. Khanomancer did have the least mind in the game, but he played very well with what he had, which is what Khanomancer is pretty good for. Yeah, he's very good with micro and APM. And AOD opting for the cheeky strats. I felt like he held off Khanomancer very well considering, but ultimately those light attacks were just a little bit too late. Maybe if they were just a little bit early, they could have helped Brownpuddle stay in that game and maybe turn the tide. So here it is, guys. This is the updated scoreboard after 9 series. We do see Rat D in first place with 15 points, and obviously a map score of 11. They do have 5 wins out of 5 games played. Well, 5 series wins. Boats and Joe's in second with 2 series wins and 6 points. So they have been pretty flawless so far. They are the best team so far. We need money, 6 points as well, but they do have a -2 deficit on maps. Then we have Triomancer in 4th with 4 points and a -4 deficit in maps. And then proceeding is Team, Bronzepanic, Fish and Chip Krauts yet to play, Brother Lag yet to play, and Baron Samedi unfortunately last with -6, but it's all yet to play for. There's still plenty of matches to go. I am looking forward to it because we are only 9 series in. I do believe there's 32 or 36 games. Obviously we'll know more once we get to that point, but thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.